How are you guys doing? I feel so good to be here at CES and get a chance to talk to you guys about the joy of photography. I love this industry. I love photography. And there's nothing better for me than to be able to share what I love. Yesterday, I got to do that even more by shooting a model who I met 5 minutes before we started shooting. And it just felt so good creating images. I know you guys know that feeling when you're shooting and in that instant you get an amazing image. There's nothing like that. Well, today I want to share the joy of photography. Has anybody used the brand new Z7 and Z6? I love seeing that. Well, I love those cameras. If you're wondering where photography is going, let me just show you how much fun I'm having with these cameras. Before I do that, let me just introduce you and say, number one, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Every day that you're shooting is a good day. Yesterday morning, I woke up and checked my email before coming to CES, and I had an email from this young lady, from Tyra. Haven't talked to her in like 6 months, sent her an email like 6 months ago, and didn't get a reply. Well, she just saw it yesterday and just replied. So I said, oh, I'm here in Vegas at CES, and I'm actually going to show a picture of you tomorrow. So here we are, Tyra Banks, and this is a fun day, just playing around, having fun. Now, my name is Matthew Jordan Smith, and people know me for doing this kind of stuff, shooting celebrities. But I love photography, period. So I'll tell you a little bit about my celebrity work, but then I want to go into what I really enjoy doing. And for those who were here yesterday, you got to see me shoot what I really enjoy doing. But more about that later on. So I've been known for shooting celebrities. I've been doing this for a long time. This is actually my 31st year as a photographer. Now, when I started off, it wasn't doing celebrities, but that's what people know me for today. Shooting Oprah, shooting Quincy. These are older pictures that people still know me for. And even people like, like this is fun to do. It's great getting these images. But the process is exactly what I did today shooting, what I'm going to do later on this afternoon shooting, and what you can do as well. It doesn't matter who you're taking a picture of, as long as you enjoy the process. And what makes the process good for us? Having a camera that doesn't get in the way, but enhances the experience of shooting. What makes it easy and fun? This new Z7 and Z6, they're fun to carry around. Number one, they're lightweight. They're simple, easy to use. You don't have to really think about it that much. I'll go into that a little bit more later on. So again, just to give you more of an overview of my past work, this is what people know me for, the celebrity work. And that stuff is fun. But before you can get there, you've got to really identify what you enjoy doing. People ask me all the time, Matthew, what's your favorite photo shoot? What's your worst photo shoot? And they want to hear the stories about celebrities. But for me, it's not really about celebrity that I really enjoy. This is great stuff, for sure. But what I enjoy is the stuff that got me into photography in the first place. When I'm shooting a job, these can be very stressful assignments. They are fun, but they can be very stressful at the same time. Unless I'm shooting somebody like Tyra again, because we have a long-term relationship, and when we work together, it's fun. Now, when I talk about the joy of photography, it's really digging into the fun part of photography. What makes it fun for you? Well, commercial work is fun. but it's work. This is more the commercial work that I've done over the years. Covers, magazine ads, movie posters. This stuff is a lot of work. It's a little bit of stress as well. And when you're working a lot, you need a break. You need to refresh your battery so it stays fun. The Z6 and the Z7, that's a fun camera to use. Now, this is what I really love doing more than anything else. It's not the celebrity work. The celebrity stuff is fine, but the beauty work is what I really enjoy doing. Now, what's great about this for me is it's creative in a way that other jobs aren't. I'll show you both today, but I'll end by showing you how I stay fresh and keep the batteries going, keep the internal battery going. This is my fun work. And this is work, doing things like a diamond campaign. You get this work by finding out what you love to shoot and showing that. People often ask me, well, Matthew, how do I get this kind of work? How do I get more jobs? You shoot what you love. And that leads to work. Sometimes we're wondering, okay, if I shoot this kind of work, it's going to lead to this. And that may not be true. When you take that out of the equation and just start shooting the things you love, it opens opportunities. People see what you love. Even before coming here today, I'm posting the image that I shot here yesterday, and I loved doing it. And people can identify with that. If you look at my Instagram right now, you'll see a picture that I did just having fun. That's when people can feel what you love doing. And that's what leads to more work, like this, just having fun. Now, let's go back and talk about the love of photography. Because when I'm not shooting an assignment, I'm still shooting. And the Z7 and Z6, it allows me to do just that. Have my camera with me every day, no matter where I am. So I live in Tokyo, and I fall in love with this mountain, Mount Fuji. So throughout the winter, I'm going to shoot it in every way I can. People know me for shooting celebrities, fashion, and beauty. But I still love photography, period. And I will admit, before the Z7 and Z6, I would think about taking my camera out, my bigger cameras, my heavier cameras, because they'd weigh you down all day long. Maybe your shoulder will be hurting you for a bit. But now, with the Z7 and Z6, it's with me every single day. What does that do for you as a photographer? It enables you to get images everywhere you go, because you have your camera, a real camera, versus a smartphone, to get better quality and capture it in a new way. Now, the Z7 and Z6 have really changed my life. They've opened doors for me in ways that I can't imagine. This is the Z7. I'm going out in Tokyo, actually outside of Tokyo, like 2 hours away, into a park, and just having a great time, enjoying life. This is what I love doing. And this inspires this. To be a better photographer, you've got to experience life. The colors come from my life. So when you are getting out and enjoying life, then you have inspiration to put into your work. How do you get your ideas? Where does that come from? It has to come from your life. When you are living a full life, traveling, eating, enjoying friends and family, and being aware of it as a photographer, you can put that into your work. That's the joy of photography. Now, let me just show you the process of how I made that past image. This is one day in studio. Can we restart that for a second? I'll play that again. So that's just 30 seconds in my day, and I love this stuff. It's fun. Now, what using the Z7 and Z6 has done for me is open up a new avenue for me. I can shoot video very easily. On my shoots, I'm using a Z6 to shoot video. I'm using a Z7 to shoot my stills. I have this amazing quality with great glass, and it's just open doors. All this week at CES, I've been shooting. Not just here, but also at the Intel booth, shooting and having a great time. When I leave here today, I'll be shooting over there. And I'll be using my Z7 and a 105 lens. Now, these are all shot with the Z7 and a 105 and a 50, two of my favorite lenses. These babies are so sharp. As a matter of fact, you can go to the back monitors and see for yourself how sharp these are. I love doing this stuff. But again, what inspires this? Your life. So before I can do this stuff, I have to get out there and have a full life. And my first week with the Z7, that's what I did. There's a big festival that happens in New York, and it's called Afro Punk. So I went out with my Z7, I took the 105 and a 50 and shot all day long. And I want you to see the colors because those colors that I had experienced that day, I put that in my work. So let me show you the influence for all this. This is New York City, Brooklyn, one day at Afro Punk. I love this. Talk about being inspired. Just being out there, walking around, and finding these images as I walked around was incredible. Now also, this day, I made the choice to shoot wide open with a 50mm lens. 1.8. What that does is it focuses on your subject and throws the background out of focus a little bit. So they stand out, even in a crowded park. All this, all day, all night, Z7, shot at 1.8 with that 50mm lens, which I absolutely love. It's so much fun, even at night. In a crowd, you can make one person stand out like this. I love that about this camera. Now, it's also opened doors for me to do other things. Throughout my career, I love working on personal projects. This is how you stay inspired. So I want to share one of my personal projects I've been working on for like the past 3 years now. This project I've done all over the world. As a matter of fact, last week this time, I was coming back from Vietnam where I shot just new images. I haven't showed those yet. I'll be showing those in probably a few weeks. But this is the first part of this personal project. Now, I live in Tokyo, a very busy, bustling city, full of life, full of movement. And I love that. Because sometimes in a busy city, you know, you want to find a still moment. And I look for that all the time in busy cities all over the world. This is the very first image I did. This is done actually with the D810 when I first started doing this project 3 years ago. But I've continued doing this project and will continue doing it even more so with my Z6 and Z7, because now with those cameras, it's easier to do this now with those bodies versus my bigger bodies in the past. So here we are last spring, cherry blossom season in one of the bigger parks, and there are millions of tourists around coming to see the cherry blossom season. And I'm trying to find one person and make them stand out in the crowd. Then I went to London and continued the same thing. So here we are, a busy day in London, making one person the subject to stand out. I love doing this. I shot it everywhere, even here in Vegas. And I'll continue doing this probably at least for the next year because I think I'm building a great body of work. Now, if you wonder how you stay inspired, you give yourself a personal project, something you do just for you. I have no idea if this will ever lead to work or not, but I love doing it. If I get an assignment somewhere where it's a busy city, I'll spend one day for myself just to get out and shoot this. Find a model or find a real person and shoot movement in a busy city. Now, in the past, I've been using only one lens, a 35, but now I'm using other lenses to explore this, thanks to my Z6 and Z7. This is a hard project to do. Shooting slow motion in a bright, sunny day is hard. If you don't believe me, just try it. Shooting at a slow shutter speed when it's really bright and sunny takes a bit of work. Once you learn how to do it and you can control it, that's the fun and that's the joy of photography that I am now experiencing. So even in New York City, I've done this, and we'll continue in New York City, my birth city actually. I love doing it all over. Did it last year in Bali, in a busy street. As a matter of fact, even last week in Vietnam, I was doing the same thing again, in a busy street. I love having this to show and get the motion. Now, again, it is hard to do, but my Z6 and Z7 have changed all of that for me now. Here we are in Amsterdam as well. This is last summer. I'm still trying to get it just right and control all the elements. LA, lived there for a minute as well. In LA, people don't really walk. You know, you gotta find a spot where people are walking, and that's really Venice Beach and only Venice Beach. And also the fun thing about this project, you know, in New York City and Tokyo, people walk like this. It's a fast-moving city. In LA, people move like this. So I had to adapt the way I shoot my motion by seeing the motion and how people are moving. And that's helped me make this project better and better and better. When you have a personal project, it makes you a better photographer. And here's the other thing it does for you. It keeps you in love with photography. Because you're doing things just for you. Now with the Z7, I can now take this project to another level And that's what I love about photography. The advances that we've seen have made it easier for us to do what we love. So here's my personal project now with the Z7 and the Z6. I can now get real people in the moment. Before, I'm using models, and I'm directing them, and I'm telling them, you've got to stay still. But now, with my Z7 and Z6, I can find an instant where somebody's on their phone and get this. I couldn't do that 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I couldn't do that. Now, I can. So here I am in Tokyo, experimenting my first week with the Z7 and doing this project. I'm trying to find people in a crowded area who are stopping for an instant and being still. And I'm loving what I'm discovering. Once I find my exposure, I plug in my recipe, and now I can do it anywhere. This is in Omanosando, a very busy area in Tokyo. And I just sat down and found people who were being still for an instant and capturing them. Now, if you look around, it's a busy area. People are always stopping to do something on their phone, which makes it very easy now for me to get this project anywhere where people are busy. And with my Z6 and Z7, it's now easier than ever before. And that has opened doors for me to make new images for my personal projects, keeping me in love with photography. Because when you're shooting jobs all the time, the pressure can take the fun out of it sometimes. You need something that you shoot just for you, that inspires you, that keeps you happy, that keeps you in love with photography no matter where you go. I love these new possibilities I have with the Z6 and Z7. Here we are in Shibuya, the busiest crossing in the world. And I took a yoga instructor out for an instant and had him do some crazy things to see if I could get him with my Z7. This is using a 35 lens because I could also use an adapter to change and put all my legacy lenses on my Z7. Here he is standing on his head. Now, this was hard because he can't stay still but for an instant. But with the Z7, I can now capture this. I couldn't do this a year ago. Now I can. And that's changed so much for me. I want to ask you all a question. Do you have a personal project? Something you are shooting just for you? If you don't, I want to challenge you to find something that you can shoot for the next year, just for you, that keeps you in love with photography. Don't think about getting work from it. Just shoot something just for you that keeps you happy, inspires you. When you do that, you want to see your work go from here to here. People can feel when you love what you're doing. Now, when you're doing that, it enables you to get things that you can never get before. This next image was an instant. I'm going to hold off on showing it because I want to talk about this for a second, because in my favorite area, Shibuya in Tokyo, things happen every single day. So I go there a lot to shoot. And every single day, I find something amazing. You can't plan a great shoot all the time. Sometimes it just happens right in front of you. Like this. This little boy had lost his mother for an instant, just a moment. And I caught it with the Z7. I couldn't do that before. This is the 50mm lens shot at 1.8, wide open. This was a fraction of a second. Before the Z7 and Z6, it took me time to do this image. I could never have got this. But this has opened doors for me to do other things. and I love it so much. So let me ask you again. Do you have a personal project? If you don't, I want you to make one and start shooting for the next year. All of 2019, shoot something just for you that makes you happy. Now, I'm always working on personal projects. Even right now, I'm doing one with a big group of photographers around the world, and we're shooting a special project based off of this image. And I love that, not only for me, but challenging other photographers to push the limits. This was my last shoot of 2018. Had a great time shooting it, but in between the shoot, I pulled her off to the side to shoot one of my personal images. That was fun. It keeps you fresh. It keeps you doing your best work. Now, here's another thing that I love about the Z7 and Z6. I can shoot with my sound off. Have you ever done that before? When you shoot silently, which I call stealth mode, it opens doors for you to capture images in a different way. The sound of the shutter makes you do something different when you're being photographed. For the subject, it's a different experience. When you turn that sound off and they can't hear it, they become more fluid in their emotions. They're not waiting for you to shoot. They're being more organic. And I've been doing that. This is shot with the Z7, the 50mm lens, and I had the shutter sound off. And it opened doors for me to get new types of images. Now also, I've been using my other favorite lenses as well with my Z7, like the 105, shot at 1.4, wide open. Let me just show what this looks like. On this day, I'm shooting in a crowded park. It's the fall in a park in Tokyo. There are thousands of people, but you can't really see them at all. I'm shooting wide open, 1.4 with that 105 lens, and everybody in the background is a blur. I was doing the same thing here yesterday, shooting in the crowd and making everybody else go away. That's the beauty of that lens. One of my favorite lenses, that 50 and that 105 on the Z7 are absolutely stunning. When you are doing things that you love, it shows. When you're having fun, it shows. On your personal projects, you can take chances, explore, find out what you love to do. This image has opened doors for me to do other things. I'm leaving tomorrow, going back to Tokyo. And this weekend, I'll be back in Shibuya again, shooting new images for my personal project. Then I'll be back here again next month. Actually, I'll be in California next month. I'll shoot some more there. I've got to shoot something for me to keep me inspired. You have to recharge your battery, your creative battery, to stay the best, to be the best as a photographer. It's fun that way. You make your best images, and you'll find out you'll love photography even more. So, today, as you're here, think about what you're going to shoot this year for you. Think about what you love doing. Think about the first picture you ever made in photography. Even right now, wherever you are in the world, what was your first picture? What made you fall in love with photography? Go back to that. Shoot more of that. And discover your love of photography all over again. When you are shooting pictures that make you feel good, the world can see it and they respond. I have a career simply because of that. I live in Tokyo, I work in New York, LA, and I'm having a ball. And all I'm doing is shooting what I love. And you can do the same thing as well. My name is Matthew Jordan Smith. I want to thank you guys for being here. Go out and shoot something for you. Bye, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nikon.